Spectacles first. You pass me them, is it? Oh no, it's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alan. I am the father of the bride, and I have been ever since she was born. I did think that my speech-making days were well and truly gone, and it was with some misgiving, I have to say, that I agreed to Heather's request that I should deliver this speech. By the time I sit down, you might well have wished that I had said no to her. It's an honour and a privilege to perform this task and to welcome you all here to share in Heather and Dave's happiest of days. It's great to see such a huge number of their families and friends, and it's a relief to me that the catering is on a bring and share basis. Heather has always been brilliant at making friends, and perhaps more importantly, keeping them. I well remember the day we took her to Liverpool for the start of our Liverpool Hope University course. We were the worried parents, wondering how she'd cope in a new environment, among strangers and away from home for the first time. How wrong we were. As soon as she'd ushered us off the premises, she was knocking on all the doors in her block and saying, "Hello, I'm Heather from Sheffield. Let's get together tonight." Never the shrinking violet. Weddings always make me think of Caroline Ahern's television alter ego, Mrs. Merton, when her opening interview question to Debbie McGee was, "What was it that first attracted you to the multi-millionaire Paul Daniels?" However, I don't think financial incentive played any part in bringing Heather and Dave together. Just over a year ago, Heather mentioned that someone called Dave was going to help her with ideas for redesigning her kitchen. We then became aware that they were meeting for coffee and country walks. Our suspicions were finally confirmed when Heather innocently and Dave said, "Dave seems to like hanging out with me." It wasn't long before Dave asked Heather if she'd be his girlfriend. And then the whole story came out about how they had actually met on a Christian dating app. It's been a challenge for them, with Dave's home base being near Chorley in Lancashire, but they worked out a timetable, and Dave was soon splitting his time 50-50 between Chorley and Sheffield. He's done everything by the book, and he even asked for my blessing before proposing. And here we are. Heather and Dave continue to work hard at blending their families, as well as altering Heather's house to provide more living space. Leslie and I are so happy that Heather and Dave found each other, and we are delighted to welcome Dave as our son-in-law. It's just as well that he answers to Dave, as our other son-in-law is called David. We were very pleased to be invited over to Chorley to meet Dave's parents, Jean and Harold, recently. We enjoyed helping out with the biggest shepherd's pie we'd ever seen. During lunch, Harold was resting in a separate room, but joined in by saying grace clearly for us through 2 open doors. Harold is not able to travel, but I believe he is watching at home via a live link. So could we all shout hello to him? So 1, 2, 3. Hello, Harold! Camera's on, I think. So we've got to know Dave really well over the past year, enjoying his quick wit, can-do attitude, and practical skills. But most of all, seeing how happy he makes Heather. We look forward to getting to know Dave's children as time goes on, Mike's, Dan, and Jemima. Helping Heather to negotiate childhood, adolescence, and early years of adulthood was an interesting experience, and Leslie and I have many happy memories of those years. We thought we'd left childcare behind 25 years ago, only to be thrust into the role of hands-on grandparents. For the last 12 years, Heather has raised Isaiah, Jeremy, and Solomon almost single-handed, and watching her manage 3 lively boys, we came to see her in a different light. Sometimes disorganized, often chaotic, but always a caring and loving mother, daughter, and friend. To sum up how I feel about Heather, I would include a quote from Homer Simpson, for which I'm indebted to Solomon here. He said of his daughter Lisa, "I may be her father, but I want to be like her when I grow up." God's love radiates from Heather's Christian faith, which has seen her through some difficult times. So no speech is complete without thank yous. And here they are, some of them. So thank you, Heather and Dave, for the planning and effort you've put into preparing for your wedding day and for inviting us to be a part of it. Thank you to all of you for coming today, especially if you've traveled a long way or if you had to rearrange your calendar. Many of you have worked very hard to make this such a special occasion. I don't name individuals for fear of leaving someone out, but I do particularly want to thank Pippa and Mike Rutter for their unfailing support and friendship to Heather and her boys over the past few years. Somebody knows where you are, Mike and Pippa. I don't. Thank you to Heather and Dave's children for their loving acceptance of a new step-parent, which has eased the blossoming of their relationship. A thank you to Leslie for being a wonderful mother to Heather and the chief instrument in bringing her up to be the person she is today. Think about it. We thank God for bringing Heather and Dave together and giving them so much happiness, with more to come. There's so much more I could have said, but received wisdom is to leave the audience wanting more. So now it's time for a toast to the bride and groom. So please stand and be ready to raise your glass, but don't say anything just yet. Where's my glass gone? Thank you. So the toast is to Mr. and Mrs. Buckley, Heather and David. Mr. and Mrs. Buckley, Heather and David.